Hello, for our Cold War crisis research, we will be presenting about the first Taiwan Straits crisis, which happened between 1954 to 1955. So first of all, who or what groups are impacted by this crisis? So the major groups that were involved include the Communist People's Republic of China, or PRC, under the Communist leader Mao Zedong, the Nationalist Republic of China, or ROC, under Chiang Kai-shek and the Kuomintang. Other than that, there are the United States, who had a mutual defense treaty with the ROC, the Soviet Union, which supported the PRC, and also the people of Taiwan, who faced the threat of invasion and war.
So what actually occurred was Mao Zedong, who was the Communist Party leader of Communist China, declared victory over Nationalist China, which was led by Chiang Kai-shek, and which was also supported by the US. They established the People's Republic of China, with a communist system that led to two Chinas, Communist China, which was known as the PRC, and Nationalist China, which was known as the ROC. After that, Chiang Kai-shek flees to the Chinese island of Taiwan with the other nationalist refugees, which was around 1 million, nearly 2 million people. Harry Truman, which was the US president at the time, declares Taiwan a neutral territory and sends aid to Taiwan, which was economic aid or the Seventh Fleet. China and Taiwan fights over the offshore islands of Quemoy and Matsu, and later on, US and Taiwan sign a mutual defense treaty due to the Chinese artillery attacks. So when did this happen? A brief timeline. October 25, 1945, Taiwan is returned to China after Japan's defeat in World War II. October 1st, 1949, Chinese Communist Party leader Mao Zedong declares victory over Nationalist China, which was led by Chiang Kai-shek after 2 decades of civil war. Mao institutes a communist system modeled after the USSR, establishing the People's Republic of China. Chiang Kai-shek then flees to Taiwan along with 2 million nationalist refugees and establishes a provisional nationalist capital. June 1950, Harry Truman, which was the US president at the time, declares Taiwan a neutral territory and sends the Seventh Fleet, which was the US Navy, to the Taiwan Strait and provides economic aid to Taiwan. December 1954. The People's Republic of China launched a massive artillery attack on the islands of Quemoy and Matsu, which led to a fight between the PRC and the ROC over the island's shores. The US and Taiwan signed a mutual defense treaty as a pledge to aid Taiwan if China attacked.
The conflict focused on a number of groups of islands in the Taiwan Strait that is only a few miles from mainland of China. Specifically, the crisis centered around the offshore island of Quemoy, also known as Kinmen, and Matsu Island. The tension between the people of Republic of China and the Republic of China. The PRC desires to reunify Taiwan and the mainland. The ROC desires to claim sovereignty over all of China, including the mainland, and refusal to give up its claim to sovereignty over the islands.
First perspective, Republic of China. As long as we have Taiwan, the communists can never win. This quote, said by Chiang Kai-shek around 1949 when the communists defeated the nationalist government of the Republic, reflects his perspective and stance on the first Taiwan Strait crisis. Specifically, Chiang Kai-shek and his followers retreated to Taiwan after the defeat, hoping that Taiwan would be the path to economic modernization. Although Chiang Kai-shek said this quote before the crisis, it shows how Chiang viewed Taiwan as a critical strategic location for the nationalists and that holding on to Taiwan was essential for their success in the ongoing civil war against the communists. By controlling Taiwan, the nationalists could use it as a base to launch attacks against the communist forces on the mainland and deny the communists access to strategic resources. This quote also shows Chiang's determination to defend Taiwan and shows how, although the Republic of China has lost to the communists, the war isn't over yet, which is proven to be true when the Republic of China tried to reconquer mainland China from the communists. Moreover, on a bigger picture, it shows how Chiang opposed communism and favored democracy and capitalism, which is like the United States.
The second perspective is the People's Republic of China. The quote I chose was, "A well-disciplined party armed with the theory of Marxism-Leninism, using the methods of self-criticism and links with the masses of the people. An army under the leadership of such a party, a united front of all revolutionary classes and all revolutionary groups under the leadership of such party. These are the 3 main weapons with which we have defeated the enemy," which is a quote by Mao Zedong from his book, The Little Red Book, published June 30, 1949. A party under the philosophical and political concept of Marxism-Leninism, which was communism, an army and all the groups and classes under that party are the only things that are required to defeat their enemies, in which is nationalist China. According to Mao Zedong, the battle for China is a battle for the hearts and minds of the peasants. Under the party, communist propaganda won over the peasants to gain their support during the Chinese Civil War, which eventually ended in the Communist China winning and the establishment of the People's Republic of China in 1949.
The first Taiwan Strait crisis, which happened in 1954 to 1955, was a pivotal period in the Cold War and the ongoing tension between China and Taiwan. The first Taiwan Strait crisis did not result in a significant conflict, but it did emphasize the potential danger of the region's dynamic location and the unstable geopolitical balance of power.
The first Taiwan Straits crisis fits into the larger context of the conflict between the Cold War superpowers because Communist China was supported by the USSR, while Nationalist China was supported by the US, in which the president sends the 7th Fleet and economic aid to Taiwan as support. This is also an example of the US's containment strategy to prevent the spread of communism. The resolution of this conflict ends with the United States and Taiwan signing a mutual defense treaty, which did not stop the entire conflict because the second Taiwan Straits crisis would later happen in 1958. We believe that the actions of the Republic of China was justified against the People's Republic of China because communism abolished free markets and there were no market prices to guide people in production. When the factors of production are owned by the government, there are no trades and no market prices, which leads to the people not knowing the values of products and materials. After Chiang Kai-shek fled to Taiwan, under his leadership, the nationalist government establishes a successful land reform program, which transformed Taiwan from an agricultural economy to a commercial industrial economy.
Additionally, the PRC attempted to invade Taiwan first, which gave the ROC the right to defend itself. This is because the United Nations Charter claimed that all nations have the right to protect themselves against aggression, and the ROC was a UN member state at the time. Also, if the PRC were allowed to invade Taiwan, it would result in oppression and persecution of the people living there. Thus, it was the ROC's responsibility to protect the people from harm. Lastly, the ROC had support from the United States, who provided military assistance and aid during the crisis. Here is our works cited. Thank you.